Tonight, into the war, the United States has decided not to send troops to aid Ukraine, leading to the latest on what caused the movement by the Biden administration. Foley under fire. Leading presidential candidate Armand Foley is under fire tonight after screenshots were leaked about him exposing for promising jobs in order to gain more votes. We have the latest on where the candidate stands with just 3 days until the election. And finally tonight, Centaur controversy after leaked images showed Secretary of Treasury Centaur role-playing as George Floyd. He joins us tonight to clear up the situation. All that starts right now. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Parker Jackson Show. As always, I'm Parker Jackson, and we got a great show for you. Coming up after the open, I'm talking to Centaur about what went on in Los Angeles yesterday, but let's get into the open first. Ukraine has been losing military aid left and right over the past few days after information was leaked about members of the Ukrainian military and government that showed they participated in Nazism events. Since the information was leaked, many countries have pulled their military aid out of the country. Tonight, the United States has now stated they will no longer be providing military aid within the country. In a statement released from the president today, it stated, "I personally have decided to withdraw troops from Ukraine following how we have been shown the current administration within Ukraine supports neo-Nazi movements in the violation of multitude of discord terms of service. We completely denounce these actions taken by their group and will no longer be affiliating with them. The original democratic government officials within Ukraine have left and have chosen to cut relations with this that is occurring." This all comes tonight as it continues to be invaded by the Russian Federation with little and no support from the allies in the West. And the fate of the country is now unknown tonight. With the small and weak military compared to the Russian Federation, there are growing concerns that the country may be taken over in just a few days from now. We're going to now turn to the leading presidential candidate, Armand Foley, who is part of a growing controversy tonight after leaked chats between him and his vice presidential running mate, William P. Nixon, were shown promising positions to members of the community in exchange for a vote with the Foley campaign in the upcoming election. In a statement from Foley, he stated, "Whatever was leaked is not real. I've said it before and will say it again. I'm not promised any job to anyone. Secondly, I will not participate in any bottling of votes against our election. And lastly, I do not want to be POTUS for life. I support the Constitution of the United States and will not create my presidency into a dictatorship. Whoever is willing to go and create fake evidence, go get a life." Finally tonight, more leaked images show Secretary of Treasury Centaur Exelis role-playing the murder of George Floyd in the newly released Los Angeles game. The image shows Centaur role-playing as a black man in an alley somewhere in Los Angeles. He is stating he cannot breathe as Bernard Caldwell and others roleplay as Derek Chauvin. With guns pointed to their head, we reached out to the Biden administration for comment, and they stated, "We totally disavow any actions and words that may influence of race. The administration is studying this closely." And that's the open for tonight, but don't go far because guess what? Centaur is joining me right now. Good evening, Centaur.
Good evening. What do you need? Parker, how you doing?
Now, Centaur, what is going on? Can we actually let's put this image on the screen first? I
Go
believe. Do
ahead.
we have the image?
Yeah. Go ahead.
My
Put on it.
producer,
Put on.
do we have the image up? All right. So in this image, I'm gonna look at it too. Um, you're pinned against a wall, and you say you cannot breathe, with members pointing guns at you. What's going on here, Centaur? Or I mean, what's going on?
Look. As far as I'm concerned, Parker, this was done against my will. There was nothing I could do about it.
There is nothing you can do. So what's the point of you saying I can't breathe? Because many people would argue that you're trying to recreate the George Floyd murder, and that's what
That's
it
not the
looks like
case,
to
Parker.
me
That's
as
not the
well.
case. You see, the people who think this is connected with the George Floyd murder is sadly mistaken because this is not connected to George Floyd in any way, shape, or form.
All right, I think we have another image of you in the Los Angeles prison, pretending to be a slave. Do we have that up on the screen for you guys?
Oh,
Am I
what's
seeing that?
it was slaves.
Hang on. Do we have that on the screen for you guys? Okay, so this image is showing You pretending to be a slave saying massa. I
Oh,
guess
no
explain
comment.
that to us
Mm,
too. No
No
comment?
comment. No
So
comment.
Centaur, you currently are employed by the Bayan administration. What is your
That's
role?
correct. Secretary of Commerce, not Secretary of Treasury. Someone else is Secretary of Treasury.
Would you say that your role with the administration, you should still have this role? Because honestly, from what I'm seeing, you're the most childish person in the entire community right now. I
Childish?
mean, yes,
What?
childish. I'm sorry, extremely childish. Because if you think about it, you're over here pretending to be a slave in the new release Los Angeles County Jail, and then there's other images of you saying "I can't breathe," which most people would relate to the George Floyd and Derek Chauvin incident. So, how, if you don't want to comment, I would like a comment for you tonight. How are you going to respond to this? Because honestly, I would be calling for your resignation right now if I was the president.
Call for my resignation. First off, if you actually think this event will cause me to resign, you are sadly mistaken, Parker. I
Who need to
will
be
not go
terminated?
down as the worst cabinet member in history.
Well, honestly, you are, and you need to be terminated. So I'm calling right now on Bayan Filipino to terminate your employment as Secretary of Commerce immediately, because we should not have people running our businesses. First off, you are the Secretary of Commerce running the entire business sector of our country right now, almost getting it started now with Los Angeles up, yet you can't even behave in the very own city we are trying to get businesses to come in. I
Look,
mean,
look. Despite what you think, this event will not hinder my will not hinder what I do in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the Department of Commerce. That's what I'm saying.
so what were you thinking when you were pretending to be a slave in the Los Angeles jail or typing "I cannot breathe"? Um, and when you're being, what's going through your head?
All right, maybe it's time that I just tell you the true story.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please,
Look,
please tell us
this
the
event
story.
was perpetrated by someone else, and
No,
I had
how is
no
it?
say.
Oh my
This
God,
Oh my
Centaur.
gosh.
That is what everybody says. That's the first
Oh
thing
my
that
God,
everybody says when
brother,
when something
it's
happens
nothing new.
between them. Centaur, Centaur. So
I
you're
had
You
telling
are
no
me,
say.
so
listen, listen, listen.
incompetent.
You're telling me that the person that was pretending to be a slave in the Los Angeles County jail, and the
Pretend to
person,
be a slave. No, no, look, no, look. Pretend to be a slave part. All right, that's just complete. You shouldn't even be
then why
talking
did
about
you
that right
say,
now.
okay, so then explain what you were saying in that. Can we get the image back on the screen, and can we get that image in the chat for him to look at in case he does not remember? Um, the image clearly, we can clearly see in this image that you were saying massa with being locked up behind bars. And do we have that image in the chat for him to see, to refresh his
Yeah,
mind? Yeah.
go ahead, pull it up.
Yeah,
Pull
can
it
we
up.
get that in the chat, Michael? Yeah, there it is in the chat. You're saying yes, massa. So are you saying that you're not pretending to be a slave in this image?
Pretend to be a slave? Well, that I cannot say, Parker. All right.
Why can you not say that?
Believe what you want, like Parker. But
Okay,
this is
hang
the
on. Okay,
21st
so then
century.
can you explain? Yeah, exactly. So you shouldn't be behaving like this. So can you please explain to me what you're doing in this photo if you're not pretending to be a slave?
Look, I was brought into this prison cell because of police brutality. All right, they arrested me for a false reason. I did
Oh
not
my
deserve to be
God,
put
So
in
they
that
Centaur.
only
prison
so
Oh
cell.
my
happy
God,
computer
Centaur.
to type
Honestly,
this message.
listen. Every answer that you've given me tonight is the stupidest thing I've
It
ever heard in my
wasn't
life.
me.
Now, Centaur, you're telling me
That's
that
so,
first of all,
Parker.
listen, first of all, the Derek Chauvin, George Floyd role play, the photo, you're telling me that wasn't you. Now you're saying you were brought into the prison where you're saying yes, master. Either way, it doesn't matter. You're still saying yes, master, and pretending to be a slave.
Oh.
So either way, it doesn't matter. So I mean, again, you're just giving false. And honestly, right now, I would honestly call for your either resignation or termination at the moment because we should not have people that behave like this running our country.
Speaking of which, I would like to call the following people to this call right now. May I please bring Mr. Bernard Caldwell into the call? Oh,
No.
I cannot?
This is a
Alright, alright.
one-on-one interview with me and you. So can you yeah, again, answer my question. What are you doing in the
No,
jail
you
cell
cannot
if
bring
you don't
somebody
pretend
on.
to
You
be a
need an answer
slave?
for your freaking crimes. Answer
Alright.
up.
Alright, you know what? You know what? Fine, I did somebody, massa. What do you want me to do about it? What's the big deal?
What do you mean,
We
what's the
wish you
big
wouldn't
deal?
have done
You are
it.
pretending to be a slave in the Los Angeles County Prison while you're employed within the government. I mean, these pictures are disgusting and disturbing to see, and you're the reason why this community is going to turn right back into where it fell out from, and that is Noosa Centaur. So tonight, I'm going to be calling for your termination. I'll be sending a letter to Bayan Filipino with all the evidence linked. I'm going to be calling for your termination tonight if you do not resign, because honestly, I am sick and tired of having these politicians that do not behave the way they should. So that is right. So I'm calling for your termination, and we're going to be right back.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to.
All right, Liam, you can join now.
I'm in already, aren't I? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not responding to your message.
And welcome back to the Parker Jackson Show. After that chaotic interview, Liam McDonald is here to comment on the Centaur issue, and then we're going to get to another issue concerning him and Armand Foley. So, good evening, Liam.
Hi, Parker. How are you this evening?
I am doing great. So, you just heard my interview with Centaur. What do you think? I
did.
mean, what do you think of him? He's just, I don't even know.
Oh, I mean, you got to remember, man, that this is the same guy when he was the Secretary of State nominee who had a group hentai watching video call scandal, where you have to hentai is anime porn, and then he testified before the Senate committee hearing that he wasn't a crossdresser, and that's obviously a lie, as he's proven evident. So I really think this is a kind of person who's going to keep doing these types of things that we don't want to see from our civil office holders, and he's going to keep lying through his teeth about it. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't say that. My brother was on my account.
Yeah, indeed. It's just complete sadness, honestly. I mean, this is a member of the government, high level cabinet member that's supposed to be running our commerce and labor division, yet the same place where he is supposed to be bringing businesses to, he is role playing as a slave and as George
Yeah,
Floyd. Oh,
he's driving businesses out of. If I was a business owner, I wouldn't want to be in a community with my group, with the head of the private sector of the community running around in the game being a racist asshole.
yeah, indeed. I mean, and he's not even the only one. You saw in the picture, let me see if I can find this picture one more time, that Bernard Caldwell was a part of it too. I mean,
Yeah,
Bernard
man, that's
Caldwell
just
was one of the
upsetting.
people.
I think Bernard, after all these years on in the Lego Row Nation community, I think he should know better as to not do that.
I agree, and I think that anybody that even gets near Centaur is just joins right in with his
Well,
funny game.
Parker,
I think he's thinking. I think. I,
it really gets to me that this group management, they started a TikTok which advertises our community in relation to Black Lives Matter, and then you've got Bernard, a group manager, going around reenacting. You know what I mean? Like
yes, and
it's just
it's all it's all the same thing. Nobody's ever punished for this stuff. And I think honestly, what Centaur did in Roblox was a violation of Roblox terms. And when that picture was forwarded through Discord, that's probably a violation of
I
Discord.
mean,
Not to
in
mention
all
the
honesty,
hentai watching on Discord.
I'll tell you right now, Parker. In all honesty, since Roblox is now a public corporation headquartered in the state of California, a lot of things on their terms of service are pretty ambiguous and stupid. Like I said one word. I said one word, Michael Parker. I said gay, and they banned me for a week.
You're right. And then yet Centaur can go around pretending he's a slave in the damn prison. Isn't
Yeah.
isn't that, and also not to mention you can't even upload a photo with like 3 words on it saying something bad. Your account gets banned for a day, yet Centaur, here he is pretending to be George Floyd getting killed, saying, I can't breathe. I mean, that is just complete disgust.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
honestly, he violated Discord terms when he did the hentai
Well,
thing.
yeah,
It's
actually, Roblox
all
and Discord have they specifically say not to recreate in real life events that are in relation to race, like police brutality in regard to interracial police officer and victim or whatnot. And yeah, I'd say definitely it was a violation of the Roblox terms and conditions, and I'd even go as far to say as Discord.
I agree. And the hentai thing was definitely, but Liam, let's get into the
Yeah, that was
um
fucked up.
yeah, I mean, I think that he's just trying to be funny. He's just childish. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to make a joke. I mean, this is not the first image to be leaked. These are not the first images, rather, to be leaked of Centaur doing something stupid, and it's costed him his job many times. So, let's get into the wrap up for tonight. Liam, what's your final thoughts?
Well, I time and time again find myself continuously astonished, just downright shocked by the behavior of people with Lego power in Lego communities. It's just, it can make you laugh and it can be very sickening.
I agree. I agree. I'm going to say my final thought tonight is honestly, what's going on within the Biden administration, because these images are not new. We talked about it. Michael talked about it last
I
night
don't
on his
think
show.
Biden would fire him, considering he's the same guy. After Lion Claw's multiple episodes as press secretary, he promoted him to communications director.
I agree. And also about Lion Claw, we reached out to him today to get a statement. The statement he gave us wasn't even, I don't even think he talked to Bain about it. He said this: "We totally disavow any actions or words that may influence race, and the administration is studying this."
Parker, you don't even have to read it. I'll tell you right now, talk is cheap. Let's see some shit get done.
I agree. I honestly, tonight, I'm calling on the termination of Centaur Exilis by Bayhan Filipino, because honestly, if I were to bring my business to this community and I saw what he has been doing and what he continues to do, because again, this is not the first time he's continued to do this night in and night out. I'm calling for his resignation, because nobody wants to work with somebody like that. He's childish, and he never knows. We never know what he could do next. So that's
The next incident, Centaur, I'll be putting forth an inquiry before the Senate committee responsible.
Indeed, and thank you all for joining on the Parker Jackson Show. It's a short show, but we got a lot of information in. Coming up next, Michael Smith Reports is up, and he'll have further coverage of the Centaur Exilis incident. And don't forget, elections are coming up, so we'll be here on Friday, but all of y'all will be right back here tomorrow, so have a great night.